Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to be playing some Grid Legends, and I'm just going to be basically reviewing the newly added Car-Nage DLC and just kind of express my thoughts on it. Now, I've already actually beaten every single mission in the classic Car-Nage storyline, but I figured I'd just replay a couple and basically just like give my thoughts on it and like say like whether you should pick it up or whether you should wait for a sale or just all that stuff. So I guess we'll just first get into the first mission real quick. One thing I will say off the bat is it's kind of really short, these missions. It only took me like, according to Steam, I was only in a session for like 102 minutes before I completed every single one of these missions. But I still think it's pretty decent though.
Can you step to the left?
Yeah.
Sorry, the other left.
Okay, so when I was a wee nipper, my friends and I would get together, fix up these old junkers, take them out somewhere and crush them together just to see which one survived. I'm not suggesting for a moment that any of you ever try... Brilliant. Ever try that at home, but after years of pushing for this thing to be a part of Grid, we're finally about to get our first ever bona fide demolition derby. Ah! Get your car, we're getting on that track. And you as well, Tom, come on.
Welcome everyone to the first classic.
One thing that's really cool about all these demolition derby events is you get like an objective, kind of like the Hot Wheels expansion in Horizon 3, where you have to get this objective completed to progress, which is pretty cool.
You're right. I have a special request from Valentin. He's well chuffed you're driving his events and wants to have a laugh with it. He mentioned he wants you to dish out as much damage as you can. Did you try to show off a bit? You've got it in you.
One main problem with the derbies in this game is you don't really do much damage to vehicles unless you boost into like the side of their car through like a turn. In fact, you kind of... Yeah, I did like no damage to these guys and I just kind of like hit right into them, which is kind of stupid. I know that Demolition Derby and Dirt Showdown you do damage to vehicles kind of no matter how you hit them, but I can just kind of keep hitting into vehicles sometimes and they just won't get damaged. And even then I barely even scuffed this car. Another thing that I think might be worth mentioning is that I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, every single one of these derby vehicles was actually just kind of a remodeled version of its version in Dirt Showdown. I'm pretty sure the only vehicle here that's new is the ice cream truck. The van might be, but I think the van was also in Dirt Showdown. But the ice cream truck is kind of cool, but it's kind of silly that there's only one new vehicle technically, and all these others are just kind of remodels, but I might be wrong. As soon as that guy spun out. Yeah, I didn't really do all that much damage to him, and I kind of punted his car. I reckon in Dirt Showdown that probably would have done much more damage if the collisions were better. It seems that ice cream truck is smoking, even though it's an ice cream truck, so all the ice cream should probably cool it down, but I guess it isn't. Oh, that was such an epic fail. Yeah, that's one thing I'll say about the derby in this game. The collisions are pretty garbage. They don't really fit derby well. I just punted the rear of that guy's car and he barely got damaged. But he isn't critical damage when I saw him. I noticed that. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to show my objective on the right side unless the first mission doesn't have an objective, but I'm pretty sure it did when I entered the mission. Because when it said deals 3,000 hits of damage to the cars but doesn't show them on the right side of the screen. I've been playing a lot of Grid 2 recently, so if you guys would like some Grid 2 like multiplayer videos, then let me know. I've also been playing some Dirt 3 too, and that game's multiplayer is still pretty alive, so I think those would make for a good video, but yeah, let me know in the comments. Alright, we're on to the final lap now, and I'm still only in third. But I haven't really been trying too hard to get to first place, so maybe we can get to second place, which is actually what I got on the first race. It is kind of interesting that first person on these derby cars, seeing as you couldn't go in first person in Dirt Showdown. Alright, here we go. Here's the finish line. And we only got third.
Dead load of damage and making it across the line. Great drive.
Alright, I'm going into the next mission, and I think I remember this one. You have to deal a bunch of hit points of damage to the cars. So now you'll actually be able to see how little amount of damage you actually do to cars, and how often it just doesn't give them any damage. So I guess we'll wait for this race to start.
Right, now for a little history lesson on the joy that's Demolition Derby. Claire, can you tell us why Demolition Derby has never been a part of grids till now?
Well, actually, it was.
Cue archival race footage.
See, there was this whole plan for outfitting retired cars with extra safety equipment to do annual demolition events. But in the trial run, Nathan McCain flips his vehicle, loses his front teeth.
Oh, what a shame. Let me guess. He whined so loudly that they cancelled the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Some people can dish it out, but they can't take it.
No comment.
This is strictly an amateur and semi-pro event, but you better believe that I will be driving, because guess who is literally the poster boy for this whole thing? Claire Webb.
You?
Uh-huh. Man like Manzi. Take the picture. Come on. Right. Let's go smash it up.
Hold on to your two front teeth, everyone.
One thing that kind of sucks about the Derby DLC is that there's only technically 2 tracks, and both of them we already have, which is Havana and Yokohama, but we just get Derby layouts, but oh well.
You a little challenge.
I actually remember this event. You have to get 4 airborne overtakes, which basically means you have to overtake one of the opponents but jump over their car, which is usually easier said than done, seeing as when I first did this I had to restart the race 3 different times because the ice cream trucks kept messing me up. But it is kind of an interesting objective to have if you can nail it. That show overtook tons of people all at once. That's something interesting, they always pile up. Have you noticed his health? It barely went down a bit, and I'll see he's just kind of sitting there. I think the way that they went about making the Derby vehicles actually crash into you is just they made everybody your nemesis, but it doesn't actively display that they're your nemesis. But as they kind of drive like your nemesis, they don't really drive people at Derby sometimes, I guess. Uh-oh. I do like this route of Havana though, because there's tons of overpass kind of areas where you can hit into these ice cream trucks and stuff. Oops. That's happened to me so many times.
Third lap, you're doing well. Keep it going.
Oh, that guy just died. Oh man. So many ice cream trucks just right there for some reason. Oh, there goes my foot, I guess. It's really chaotic when you look back and just see a bunch of ice cream trucks and tow trucks chasing you. But I guess it is Demolition Derby. Also, my steering is super messed up. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, that's also not good. Typically, you don't want ice cream trucks to land on top of the vehicle because it's usually not good for the vehicle. Yup. I do kind of wish that they made the damage model on the Derby cars a little bit better, because this game doesn't really have that great of a damage model. As opposed to the older grid games, it would have been fitting to have much better damage for Derby cars, I guess. That's kind of like Dirt Showdown.
Last lap. Hold the lead through to the end now.
Oh, the ice cream truck guy is super low. I could probably total his car. Ah, sweet. I just wrecked him with the power of my reverse gear in my vehicle, which is called being a pro driver and not a drunk driver. That guy's basically driving a tricycle since he's missing one of his wheels, which is kind of a funny thing to see in these derby races. Sometimes you'll just see a vehicle that only has 3 wheels because one of them fell off, or who knows why. This game mode can be pretty fun sometimes, it just kind of encourages you to drive like a drunk driver, which is kind of fun sometimes. Oh, I don't lose to the ice cream truck. Okay, I didn't lose to the ice cream truck, that would have been kind of embarrassing. This race is a pretty fun one because it's at nighttime in Yokohama and you get to use the hot rod looking thing. It's pretty cool. This is probably the best vehicle out of the derby cars for online racing because it grips really well and it takes the turns better than the other ones. I don't think it's as cool as the ice cream truck though, because the ice cream truck is the ice cream truck, which is pretty cool. Another kind of cool thing about the Yokohama derby track is how you're able to drive into these crates. It's pretty cool. I do kind of wish that there were more like routes of these tracks, or at least some more derby tracks. Because only having 2 different derby tracks, it kind of makes it so there's not much replayability. But it's still pretty fun, especially when you play online, usually. I'm going so much quicker than all the rest of the pack that my vehicle has like no damage on it. Or at least it did until I hit that jump. Uh-oh. Yeah, sometimes when you do that jump in the crate, your car will get damaged for no reason. And also sometimes ice cream trucks will fly and hit you. Uh-oh. Okay, well, that's not what I intended to do. If I was actually doing the story mission, I would have actually failed the objective, because the objective is to have more than 50% health. But that wouldn't really be possible when an ice cream truck slams into the side of your vehicle at like 90 miles an hour. That's usually a massive problem. It seems also all these derby cars go about the same speed, about 92 to 95 miles an hour. Usually always max out not straight away near that jump. Another thing that actually isn't mentioned anywhere, like on the grid socials or anything, but you can only use the derby cars on the derby tracks. You're not able to use them on like any other tracks, which is kind of hard for like some of the achievements, like the one where you have to drive 99 miles in the ice cream truck. Because I had to drive around this exact route of Yokohama in the ice cream truck like over 100 different times just to get that achievement for the ice cream truck. So that took a while. Probably wouldn't recommend driving around Yokohama a couple 100 times in an ice cream truck. Speaking of ice cream truck, there's one right here. That probably did more damage to my vehicle than it did to his, to be honest. Alright, and here's the epic finish line, and first place, because I'm a gangster. Alright, and to end off this video, I figured I'd show off all the derby vehicles. My ice cream truck seems to not been cleaned since I last did 100 miles on Yokohama, so there we go. So we have, I don't know why the icons aren't loading. We have the ice cream truck, then we have that hot rod I was using. I just have a different design on it. Then we have like this old muscle car looking thing, pretty cool. Then we have a van, which is pretty cool, I guess. And then we have a tow truck, which would have kind of been cool if you could actually tow other cars on it, but I guess that's kind of more something you could do in Driver San Francisco instead of Grid Legends, but whatever. But yeah, I do kind of wish that there were more vehicles in this update. Well, technically they did also actually add another vehicle. They added this thing, which is pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting too, how it's like has like flappy things on the back. I don't know what you call them, but anyway, overall I think if you really want this DLC, you should either wait until it's on sale or buy the deluxe upgrade when it's on sale, which is what I did. It's pretty good, but it's really short. There's not too much replayability on it, and there's only really 2 tracks. But yeah, it's pretty good. On my Steam review, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think that remains the same. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's pretty good, but anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe, because that would be super cool. And feel free to like the video, because that would also be super cool. And yes.